apparently free. You are a pirate. You're hard-fitted indeed. Being a pirate is a wretched deed. Do what you want, 'cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate. You are a pirate. We got us a map.
Welcome to the Captain's Quarters, the official monthly podcast of the Pirate Bay Free Company of Genoa server. Here are your hosts, Quartermaster Carito Felina, First Mate Zaf Hikari, the hardy Caritas Helmbreaker, and the Pirate Lord of Yar Booty, Capn Aya.
And welcome everybody to episode 4 of the Captain's Quarters. We have got a full house tonight. We are absolutely fucking stacked. So with you as always, myself, Caritas Helmbreaker, your humble host. But we've got some new folks. We got some new folks to talk to tonight. So we have our new super duper co-host Zaf Hikari, the backbone of the Booty FC. I'll keep fucking saying it until it catches on. They're eventually going to call you that if they don't already call you that. We have got Kirito Felina as always. You know him, you love him. We have got Capn Aya, and we have a number of guests this evening. We have got Tito Sturmstrider, who you remember from the last episode, as our new special correspondent on everything, on all the new freshness. And then we have a couple of guests that are going to help us steer the ship tonight. So, is it Avnaran Centim? Am I saying that right?
Nah, it's Avnaran Centim.
Son of a bitch! I knew I should have asked you before I hit record.
You can just call me Avon. That's what everybody else calls Avon or Avon. Either way.
Avnaran. All right. I'm with it. I'm hip now. And last but not least, everyone's favorite, my favorite. You make me want to turn down my music just a little bit lower and talk in a slower voice. Mamba.
What's up, Booty?
Yeah. So, how is everybody? Just fucking jump in. There's enough of us here. How's it going?
So good.
Six kinds of awesome, baby.
Can't complain. Awesome.
I'm wet.
Whoa.
Maybe you should dry off after you get out of the shower.
All right,
I need
sorry.
a cold shower.
I had to clear my throat there for a second. Fantastic. Absolutely awesome to have everybody here. Awesome to be back. Little, as usual, a little longer than we expected, but we got in the month of October by 24 hours. So I will take that. That's a step in the right direction. But we've got a lot to talk about. We've got a lot of people to help us talk about it. So what I would like to do, unless anyone has any objections, I'd like to get right into the State of the Booty for this month, Captain.
Oh man, State of the Booty.
Best part.
Oh yeah. We've had some pretty crazy stuff happening in the booty this past month.
Phrasing.
I don't. Well, okay. Listen, the booty is big, so big things happen in the booty.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Okay, so I don't know if people have noticed, but I've been receiving some messages lately about the people leaving. People come, people go. We're a large FC, but the past month we've lost some pretty important people. We lost some first mates. We lost a first mate. We lost me Hardys. We lost some veterans, and so people were worried. They're wondering what's going on with the booty. Where is it going to go? Is it falling apart? There were rumors that the booty is falling apart. Everything's changing. There's a shift in leadership, which was the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. But no, the booty's okay. I want to make sure everyone knows that it's okay. We're a large FC. We're a social FC, which means that we're geared towards, we want to put ourselves out there for people who want to come in and they want to make new friends and they just want people to talk to while they play. So that's why we have so many strict rules about the things that you say in FC chat and the things that you say in Discord and the things that you say on the Facebook page, because we want to make sure that everybody has a comfortable gaming experience because we are a social FC. That being said, everybody, every now and then, I like to call it the change itch. They get the change itch. And so occasionally we'll have people in the FC who have been here for a while and they just decide that, you know what, this is they need something new. They want to meet different people. They want to meet new people. They want to see where else other FCs can take them in the land of Eorzea. And that's fine. That happens. But recently, we had some pretty personal situations happen with some officers leaving and with some veterans leaving. And so people were pretty worried about that. And all I have to say about that is that I'll always be here. I'm the leader of Booty. I founded Booty. I founded Booty on some very strong premises that I want the Booty to be a place where people can come and they can feel comfortable gaming without worrying about drama. So therefore, I have officers behind me that help me take care of the drama in the FC. And because of that, sometimes because we're such a large FC, there's a large amount of drama that we filter so that it doesn't trickle down into the rest of the FC. And the officers that I have standing next to me, because they have to filter that, they get overwhelmed. They get stressed out. They start to feel the strain of all the drama, and they want to log in and just play the game too. So occasionally, I'm going to have officers leave, and that's just going to happen that way. But that doesn't mean that this FC is going anywhere, because even though I have to deal with a large amount of drama and I have to talk to a decent amount of people about some issues that go on, I love what I do, because I think our FC provides a comfortable place for people to come and for people to game. And we're not going to be perfect. We're not always going to handle everything the right way. I'm not always going to make the right decision, but we'll learn from what happens and we'll move forward. And I promise that I will always try my best. I'll always be here for anyone that I can be here for. So if anybody ever has an issue, please don't feel like, oh, she has too much on her plate, or there's too many people, or this issue is too small. You can always come to me. You can talk to me about any issue that you have, and I promise that I will do my best to address it.
And I will say this, if you don't mind, if I might interject here, to add some perspective to that. Just being someone who comes from a corporate work environment, I want to point out, especially for some of our younger Bootians, what do we call them? Is there a name for them? There are multi-million-dollar companies that are smaller than this FC. That is absolutely the truth, and people come and go from those companies all the time, and there are a myriad of reasons why people do something like that, and so it's not always, in fact, more often than not, it is not doom and gloom. It is not the end of the world when that happens, so long as you still have your core leadership, which, let's be frank, is Aya. She has the people around her who are supporting her, but like she said, she's the leader, she's in charge, and she's still here. And the other thing I would point out, and this is just a personal thing that I would mention, is to quote my favorite South Park character, Leopold Butters Stotch. It's a pretty brutal job sifting through all that darkness. So the number one thing that you can do as a member of the Booty to sort of alleviate some of the pressure on your officers and keep them around longer is make their job easier. Just don't be dicks. Yeah. It's kind of that simple. The easier you make their jobs, the longer it's going to take for them to burn out.
True
the
facts.
10 commandments of Booty could be boiled down to that one commandment right there.
Exactly.
True facts, yeah.
So please continue. Sorry, with the state of the Booty. I felt very impassioned about making those 3 points.
No, thank you. I appreciate that so much. But I completely 100% agree. I know sometimes people will feel it's personal because sometimes people come in here, and because we strive to be an FC where we're accepting of new members and we want to get to know new members and we want to make sure that that everybody feels welcome, there will be people who feel close to the people who decide to leave, and so they feel hurt by the fact that these people left, or they feel like maybe it's their fault, or they feel like that they feel a little helpless about the situation. But I can promise you that these things happen, and because of that, you need to make sure that when you play, you keep your heart and keep your mind open to other members of Booty, because we try to make sure that the people of Booty are good people. They're upstanding people. If there's ever any jerks in Booty, which if you've been on lately, you'll see, you'll understand that if there's any jerks in Booty, I get them right the F out of booty because I don't want them in it. I mean, I don't want jerks. I don't want people who make other people feel uncomfortable. I don't want trolls. I don't want people in my FC who think it's okay to talk down or to grade other people just because they're having a bad day or just because they're bored. So if there's any jerks or any buttholes on an RFC, I make sure that they're out. They're gone. I have my phone on constantly. I have my me parties and my first mates watching out and keeping watch over the booty. That's kind of why some of them burn out sometimes because they have to take care of such things. But I try my best to make sure that I'm on top of it, so they're never having to deal with too much on their own.
Winter comes.
Winter comes.
Kirito is the one butthole that gets to stay. He literally is the FC butthole. He is where all the shit comes from.
Yeah.
But we love him, so, you know. He's a lovable butthole. A lovable butthole.
He's a turd of gold.
A turd of gold. It's beautiful, Evan. I didn't know you were so poetic.
He does look good in them little britches.
Oh my goodness, yes he does.
Sweet gives him pankins when he misbehaves.
That being said, though, let's move on from that because it's depressing. But I wanted it to be kind of a more uplifting thing. That, you know, people will come, they'll make friends in this FC, and sometimes they leave, or sometimes they come and they make lifetime connections in this FC, and they'll stay. I mean, there's loyal people, and then there's people who feel the need to change every so often, and that's just how people are. It's okay, but I'll always be here. I promise you that. However, October 1st, which is just a couple days away, we're going to be...
November 1st.
November 1st.
Thanks for catching that.
Holy freaking crap.
It's literally right there in the outline that you reprimanded everyone else for not looking at before the show.
November 1st, we'll be going through all of the applications that we've gotten into the website, which are, I mean, there's a decent amount of applications. And if you don't know what I mean by applications, we put applications on the website for Mihardies, which is our sub-officer rank, and for our first mates, which is our officer rank, which those are the people who mostly help me filter through some of the serious drama, and the Mihardies help me deal with some of the FC chat whenever the other first mates aren't on. But November 1st, we're going to be going through some of those applications. If you are not a quartermaster yet and you're thinking, hey, I do a lot for this FC, I love this FC, I want to help this FC go forward, feel free to fill out a Mihardies application anyway. That way we can read your Mihardies application, we can see that you want to do more for this FC, and we'll tell you what you need to do to get to that rank as soon as possible. Or if you're already doing those things, we'll move you up. So feel free to fill out those applications. But November 1st, we're going to be going through those. We're going to be making some very serious promotions. So there's going to be some new Mihardies, which are sub-officers. And there's going to be at least 2. We're thinking 1 or 2, but at least 2 new first mates. Recently, I had to promote some first mates.
Please stress had to, because fuck this.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Mamba.
I had to promote new first mates. But the first mates that I chose, I didn't choose because I had to, but I chose them because they definitely deserved the position, and I'll get into that here in a second. But I had to promote new first mates because we had a first mate leave, and because we had another new first mate have to step down because of personal reasons. She's going through a lot in her life right now, so she couldn't do the things that a first mate needed to do. There's a lot involved in being a first mate, and you don't realize that until the first wave of serious stuff comes onto your plate, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is some serious stuff. But it happens. But if you have a love for this FC, and if you have a love for this game, it carries you through. And once you get through that first difficult thing, you realize that you have a group of sub-officers and officers there, and me, who help you get through it. So I had to promote some new first mates, and if you didn't know, it's Boom and Jakin, who is awesome. He's hilarious. He has the ongoing joke about Boom and Cher, who I think is a god in his eyes.
No. It's just a god. Let's be serious for a second.
It's so much of a god that Yoshi P has made it into a mount.
You damn right.
True facts. It is a mountain. Like when it came up in FanFest and Zaph and I were sitting next to each other, I turned to Zaph and I was like, it's Boomin's chair as a mount. And he was like, I know.
Can we start a petition to get them to name that? My guess is that we have a year, because if I remember correctly, Yoshi P said that's coming for All Saints Week. So we have a year to petition that thing to be called Boomin's chair.
Everybody thought it was this All Saints Week. Everybody was wrong.
I was super disappointed.
Me too. Super disappointed because I wanted to ride it on that thing.
Well, I mean, calm down. It's a fucking flying chair. Come on. Listen, it ain't that great. It's a fucking flying chair.
Listen, Seth Rudis, I wanted to fly around Boomin all day long on that thing and be like, look at your chair. It's a slut. Because I'm riding it right now. Look at all these people riding your chair, Boomin. Anyway, and then I promoted Yargith Enderhees, which if you don't know, Yargith Enderhees is, I mean, he's freaking wonderful. He's hilarious. He's fun. He's on top of everything. If anybody needs something and he's on and he can help you, he's on top of it. And he's always been that way. Mamba's the same way. Even before we had Mamba be anything. I think when I first invited Mamba, it was so funny because I don't even think Mamba was a member of the crew yet. And Mamba was hosting her own event, FC-wide event, posting it on Facebook. It was the Booty Summer Bash. Or
What's that? The Booty Beach Bash?
Yeah.
Something.
It was amazing.
That was fun.
Wait,
it turned out to be so much fun. We had a swimsuit contest where people were being pretty lewd in their swimsuits and getting voted on.
Sorry, I remember you legitimately called it the lewd swimsuit contest.
It was. But that's just Mamba. That's what she's all about. She's taken charge ever since she's been a part of this FC. She was on the Genova Facebook page when she was very first invited into the FC. Like, Booty's wonderful. You guys should come join me as such a large, friendly group. And, I mean, I was watching all the posts she was making just thinking, man, I wish this person was an officer. And let me point this out really quick. I know we're going to introduce them and we're going to talk about them later, but Mamba, really quick, I want to take a second to talk about this. Mamba had, if you guys remember, if you've been in the FC long enough, she'd filled out an application for our very first quote-unquote election where people got to choose from the answers that were given from an interview which answers were the best. And out of that was chosen, I think, Neems and who else was chosen from that?
Isa.
Isa. Neems and Isa, and they both came into an officers meeting, and then the officers got to choose who they felt kind of fit in well enough to the group to be a first mate. And it was really difficult. We wanted both of them, but at the time, we really couldn't fit both of them in. And so we ended up choosing Neems. But in the back of my mind and at the bottom of my heart, I'm sitting there thinking, I really wish that it was Mamba. Not because I don't love Neems, because Neems is wonderful and Isa's wonderful. But Mamba has this incredibly, I don't know how to put it. Okay, Mamba, she shoots guns.
Damn it.
She got those
Mamba,
hooves, too. She got hooves.
Mamba shoots guns, okay?
No cares given.
Mamba
I'm armed.
And that's
She's
really the big
very
difference is Mamba shoots guns and Neem shoots loads, yo. That's the
Listen.
difference.
Holy crap.
That's the difference.
Mamba has a very different point of view for just about everything. And not a bad different point of view, but the kind of point of view that when she comes in with it is it makes you think about the things that you're saying or the things that you're thinking. And it's hard to explain that. However, here's how I'll put it. Mamba had filled out the application for the election, and she wasn't chosen. She wasn't voted on. So the next round where I had people filled out first mate applications, she sent me a message and she said, listen, I don't necessarily agree with filling out applications. I don't think I don't think we should have to do this. It's a game, that kind of thing. And I was like, well, crap. Well, I see where she was coming from. it was also like, well, this is how we've decided to do this as an officer group, so there's not much I can do about it. However, time went on, and this round of applications, Mamba sent in an application. And let me tell you about Mamba's application.
Mamba's an asshole.
Mamba didn't just send in an application where she answered all the questions. Mamba sent in an application where she told me exactly what she thought about all the things that were going on in the FC.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And yeah, listen. They weren't exactly friendly. Mamba wasn't trying to be friendly. Mamba wasn't trying to kiss my butt. Mamba was trying to tell me, these are things that I see going on. These are things that I want to fix. And if you don't like it, fine. This is what I think. And so at that point, it wasn't bad, no. In all honesty, it wasn't like Mamba was being a butthole. Mamba was just being honest, which is what I love so much about Mamba, is that she's very honest. And so at that point, when I read through her application, I knew, because at that point I was looking for a new first mate or two because of the things that we were going through. And I knew that we needed a couple really active first mates who can be on and be watchful of the FC and make sure everything's going smoothly. And I needed some new ideas flowing in. The FC's, it's ready for some change. So I knew after reading that Mamba was my woman, and she's been my woman for a while. I respect Mamba greatly.
This all sounds terribly
I'd
sexy.
also like to add it that it has nothing to do that she's armed, right?
Maybe not.
She's behind you, isn't she?
Well, let me sum it up for you and say, you know that thing we were talking about not being dicks? Those of you that are out there listening, don't be a dick.
Yes.
Because if you're a dick, I am going to be behind you.
No, you know what though?
And dangerous.
I am gonna say this. It goes deeper than that with Mamba, and I totally agree.
does.
I totally agree
Yeah.
with Aya on this because those who have had a chance in the limited time I'm able to play to get to know me know that I am an artist and a designer in the background. That is what I do professionally, right? And when I was having a pretty hard time, so probably about 6 months after joining Booty, I was going through a particularly difficult time in life, and I really had to hustle to make some cash. And so I said to myself, what am I good at? Well, I'm good at drawing. And what do people who play this game love? Well, they love fucking artwork of their characters. They love all this custom work of their characters. And so I went on this just fucking full-blown campaign trying to do custom artwork for people and get paid for it. And anyone who's ever done any sort of freelance or what do you call it, contracted work, right? It's fucking difficult, one, to get people interested, and two, to get people to actually pay you. And I just want to throw out the fact there that Mamba gives a shit about people from the top to the bottom, because she came to me, she said, yo, your shit is awesome. I want you to draw my character. I drew her character. She paid me exactly what I asked for it. She helped me fucking out, and then she fucking showed everybody, told me how much she loved it. And then after all of that, after that huge outpour of love and respect, she turned around and fucking Fantasia'd her character and still didn't regret the decision. Still didn't regret the decision. So I want to make the point that she really does give a fuck about everybody from the top of the pops to the bottom of the barrel.
Very much so. And that's what's so lovable about her, is that even though she does have this, like, you look at her and I'm sitting here like, Mamba's armed and she's got this crazy asshole point of view, which she doesn't have an asshole point of view. She's just got a different point of view. But Mamba is crazy, crazy caring about everyone in this FC. From the person who very first joins that day to the person who's been there since the very beginning, Mamba will care about you. And that's what I love about her, and that's the reason why she's a first mate now. I'm excited. I'm genuinely excited. She's only been a first mate for a few days, but I can't wait to see where this goes from here, honestly.
So, Captain, I am going to throw this in there just for the sake of throwing this in there. Not that I'm not thoroughly enjoying this conversation. We are 20 minutes into the show, and we are still on the first point. Yeah, the first point of our outline. So, I have a legitimate feeling. I have a legitimate feeling that at this point, Mamba has gotten off. I don't think we need to help her anymore with that. I think she's probably done.
Oh my god. You guys are nuts.
Fine. I'll move on.
Hey, that's my job.
Thank you. Thank you so much for doing your job. I will bring up our events because recently, if you have been online, especially this Friday, you would have seen that we had the Masquerade Ball, which was incredible. We had a crazy turnout for the Masquerade Ball. There was so many people piled into our basement that if you had names turned on, you couldn't read that shit. It was nuts. And then I had, I think I made when we first came out, there was the Cinder Millie event, which, Millie left the FC. So I had to come up with something quick. So we had Skies and we had Buttery be our winners for that. And they were waiting for a prize. So I had them wait at the bottom of the stairs and I said, you'll get your prize. We RP walked Boom and Jakin down in his little metallic purple and yellow thong, and Mamba, who changed into a manly Roman, walking down for Buttery, and they traded a million gil and a minion amount to Boomin and to Skies, and then they were their date for the rest of the night, and that started the whole thing off amazing. But then I asked everybody who was participating in the Minion Glam event to get up on the stage, which, if you didn't know, the Minion Glam event was something that you had to match or coincide with your minion. So you didn't need to necessarily match your minion or dress up as your minion, but maybe necessarily just go with your minion. So we had Nyx Astra win first place with her. She was dressed as a Gale kitten, and she even dyed her hair like the gray and black, and she had the vampire top on, which looked like she had the little Gale kitten top, and it was glorious. And then we had Tito, who won second place as Genie, and he had a little monkey, a baby Oppo as his minion. It was glorious. And then we had Rain Smith, who was dressed as Shiva, and the sky pirate coat with the tails to match Shiva's tails, and Ryu Guki with he was Cloud, with the pointer from Final Fantasy VII, and Iki Soul, who was dressed as Succubus, who was a spot-on Succubus. I mean, he had the horns and the outfit down absolutely perfect. It was glorious. And they all tied for third place. So, but when I asked everybody to gather onto stage for the Minion Glam contest, we couldn't see everybody because there were so many people gathered on the stage that I had to have everybody lined up from the stage and the secret room on to the very end of the basement to the other end of the room. So, I mean, there was a crazy amount of people. It was an awesome turnout. We had the music bot going and Discord. I mean, it was a super fun night. It was incredible.
Before we go on, I just want to throw something else out there. Nominating right now, and you can vote now if you want to. You don't have to. But Boomin' and Buttery for the next episode for our guests.
Oh, yeah.
Boomin' and Buttery.
Oh, yes.
That would be awesome.
That's just a personal preference. Anyway, go ahead.
You need the Buttery one in here.
That guy cracks my shit to pieces on Facebook on a fucking regular basis. And, and Boomin', I have to pay my respects to the chair, so.
Yeah. Well, they're both awesome. They both come up. I think they've both come up at least a couple times in these podcasts. So
last time he did, he gave you butter, I think.
He did. He likes to give out butter. That's his thing. He's a slut.
He gave me the hat I wear when it's cold.
He's a butter slut.
He's a warm buttery biscuit. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so if you like the Masquerade Ball, great. Because in the future, we're going to be doing, this upcoming month, we're going to be doing a Thanksgiving feast. I'm going to have more details on this, but we're going to be doing kind of a scavenger hunt / murder mystery kind of thing. It's going to be exciting, so stay tuned for details for that. We're also going to be doing a quote-unquote Christmas party, which I think is they call it the Starlight event in Final Fantasy.
The Starlight Festival. I wrote you an outline.
Oh my gosh!
Just
I'm
read
looking
it.
at my own outline. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're making your. Oh, wow. Now I'm understanding why people have problems. You're making your own outline.
Shut up, Seth Brutus. Anyway, so during that, we're going to be coming up with more details for that. But there's definitely going to be some kind of gift exchange and other things involved in that. So stay tuned. We're going to be redecorating the mansion for all of those things. It's going to be glorious. But I do want to mention, before I hand it over to anyone else, that we have an art contest going on right now, which if you followed the podcast, you know that we want to be doing a booty swag store, which means we'll be having things such as t-shirts or mouse pads or bags or mugs available for purchase. What?
What the fuck just happened? That was just a dead stop.
I know. Well, Zaf said something, and I was like, "What?"
Oh, so so when Zaf says booty, you just can't help yourself. You just
Yeah.
you just.
No, I said
stop.
hoodie.
Oh, I thought he said booty.
Hoodie. Oh, hoodie. Yeah.
It's like those old cartoons when like the cartoon cat smells some food and she just floats away. He says booty and she just floats away.
The hearts
Get that
and
whiff
the.
of it.
Oh yeah. Why do you think we're together? I moved to freaking Florida. Okay. Okay. Listen. So we're going to have a swag store. It's going to have all those awesome things: hoodies, t-shirts, mouse pads, mugs. I've designed a decent amount of things for the swag store. But we have an art contest kind of going on right now where if somebody designs or draws this epic art thing of awesomeness, we will not only give them an awesome prize for it, which is the very first shirt printed with their design, but we'll give them, I think we promised 5 million gil. It's going to go up on our website. We're going to mention it on our Facebook, and it's gonna be sure that we'll post their art if they have a portfolio up on that as well. So if you haven't seen the art contest, please take a look on our Facebook. If you don't know what I'm talking about, ask me directly and I'll post you to it. I'm going to post something up on our website as well. There should be something on the website on the home page about it. Email me at tessabea@gmail.com. It's TESSABEA@gmail.com. Any of your entries for that. And we're going to give you some awesome prizes. I think even second and third prize winners from that are going to get something incredible. So, yeah, that's all I have to say.
Before we move on about events, me and Tarek have something planned.
Oh, yeah.
We're working on it.
Should I be scared?
Yeah.
No, it's
maybe.
awesome.
It'll be fun, but we're still working out the kinks. We don't have a date yet, and it could still be for a while, but, please look forward to it.
You son of a bitch. I knew that was coming. I fucking as soon as you didn't give it a name or describe it, I was like, he's gonna fucking please look forward to it.
If you're a big fan of anime, you'll like it. Hopefully.
So what you're saying is you're securing your return appearance on the next episode.
Maybe. Well, you see, I have to talk about the next fan fest, so. Because there's another one in like a month, I think. I forget.
The one in somewhere else. Is it Europe?
December.
Tokyo. There we go.
No, there's a European one too.
I know. I thought there was a European one coming up at some point.
Yeah, the European one is next, and then the Tokyo one.
Well, since the captain decided to flex her captain nuts and jump around a little bit on this on our outline, I want to jump back because the next thing on our outline after all of our social events is really talking to Zaf and getting in deep into website updates and fan fests and all that cool shit. And I feel like that's going to take a sizable chunk. So I'm gonna pull this car over to the side for just a little bit, and I'm going to get into what is my favorite part of the show, which is our member spotlight, which is the reason that we have Mamba, and it's the reason that we have Avon on the show. They are here to talk to us about themselves, and the idea of this segment, if you haven't listened to the show before, is to give everyone an opportunity to get to know, I don't even know if I would say prominent, just members of the booty, people who are around, people you're going to see, you're going to talk to, you're going to be getting to know anyway. This is these are questions we hit them with to kind of give you a little bit of the inside track on who they are. So maybe if you haven't engaged these people in game and conversation, it'll kind of help grease those gears because you feel like you'll already have something to kind of open up to them about. Anyone is open to this. By the way, at the end of the day, what really happens is the captain comes to me and basically says, "This is who I'd like to bring on the show for our member spotlight / better know a matey segment." So all you really got to do if you want to come hang out with us on the show is just be active, be known.
Yeah.
Make sure the captain knows who you are and your level of passion for the FC.
Be a presence.
You get presents?
Yeah, be a presence. Be a presence.
Oh,
in
I thought you
FC
said you
chat.
get presents. Like, I don't get a fucking present for doing this. Give me a fucking present.
I'll give you a present.
I'll take that. I'll take that Gestalt minion. I've been saving up for that for a while. Somebody make me that.
I'll do it.
So there's a number of questions here, and I think we're just going to do what we always do, which is start with one person. And Mamba, unfortunately, since we basically spent a good amount of time powdering your ass, I think we're going to move. We're going to move over to Evan
I need
first.
to finish my wine.
Okay. Kick back, relax, take a sip, and we're going to move over to Evan. So, Evan, how are you, buddy?
Doing quite well. Mamba, don't hit the sauce too hard, okay?
Well, I was just hoping you hadn't fallen asleep, because we can be a pretty dominant crew on this show, audibly, anyway. Before we even started this, Kirito, who's been on the show since episode 1, asked me, when do I talk? Do I just fucking interrupt people?
Yeah, like, what the fuck?
I feel like you have to. I feel like you just have to.
Yeah.
Well, now that you've actually finally contributed to the show, I'm going to take the mic away from you, because we're going to go back to Evan. We're going to talk to him. We're going to ask him some fun questions. So this is your opportunity to get to know this person whose name you constantly see in your FC chat. So Evan, to start with, what brought you initially to... I'm sorry, I'm skipping past my own questions. What's your MMO history?
Well, it goes back a bit of way. Of course, like everybody, I'm pretty sure, we all started with the wonderful RuneScape.
Yes!
But that was short-lived, and I was a child, and I grew out of that, as all of us should.
I didn't.
I know. But nah, after RuneScape, actually, I took a break from MMOs for a while, got a little bit older, and actually started playing a game called Secret of the Solstice, and I got really into that game. It was a free-to-play MMO from Outspark Entertainment. If anybody remembers them, they did like Fiesta Online. And I got really into it. I met a lot of good lifelong friends through there. Kind of opened up my horizons a lot. And that's how I really got into MMOs, is through that game. But yeah, that's my MMO history, and that's how I got into them.
So what brought you specifically to Final Fantasy XIV?
Well, with Final Fantasy XIV, it was kind of a interesting thing. I had just gotten a PS4, and I was looking for games, and I had no games. And I hadn't been playing MMOs for a while, actually since I used to work for an MMO developer, and it kind of burned me out on MMOs. I was quality assurance and testing for them, and it's actually the head of the department, and it takes kind of the magic away. But when I saw Final Fantasy XIV, I'm like, oh, I like Final Fantasy. Let's go ahead and give it a try. So I bought a copy for myself and a copy for my wife. I played on PS4, she played on PS3, and we just got really, really into it. We bought Heavensward shortly after that, and the rest is history.
So let's give a shout out to your wife real quick too, because we're definitely getting her on the show at this point.
Nomig Centim, her name in real life. I will go ahead and just say, we are Gladys and Charles, and no, we are not 90 years old.
Well, I think we're definitely going to get her on the show at some point. That's why I wanted to give her a special shout
She's hilarious. If you've never talked to Nomig, be sad, because she is a funny chick.
Yeah, I think I'm funny. Gladys is genuinely funny.
That is a very old world name. That's like a Dorothy. A Dorothy is a name you don't really hear much anymore. That's a very, very old world name. I like it.
But if you've seen her, she's a pretty girl.
Hey, whoa. There's no old world doesn't insinuate ugly, Tessa. You're carrying that back. You're bringing that baggage into the conversation.
No, I want to make sure that people know that Gladys is gorgeous.
Oh yeah, she's the sexiest girl I've ever met.
I can't imagine why you'd say that.
No, when you said the name Gladys, I thought you were making a Portal reference. I'm terrible.
Her parents just knew.
I heard GLaDOS. I'm like, oh, okay. I thought you were making like a joke or something.
Shut up, Tito.
Well, I'm going to say this right now. More respect to her because I actually have a 21-month-old daughter, and I threw out every fucking old world name you could imagine. Every name that you haven't heard since your grandparents, I threw out and was shot down relentlessly until I found something that my wife kind of thought sounded somewhat contemporary. So I probably threw Gladys out at some point, to be completely honest with you. So that to me is fucking awesome because I think there's a lot of really great fucking names that we have just abandoned as a country.
Throw out Gretchen.
I know. I work with a Gretchen, and she's awesome.
Do you?
She's awesome.
Oh, wow.
But anyway.
Tessa is a Victorian name, you butts.
You butts.
It is, yeah. My mom chose it from an 1800s name book. She said it was falling apart in her hands as she looked through it for a name, and she opened it up to the first page it came to and pointed, and that's how she got my name.
Picture her flipping through this dusty old tome, written in blood and bound in human flesh.
Yes, exactly. That's how it was named.
Let's just be glad she didn't point at Norbert.
Norbert would be gorgeous. Thank you. Norbert suits me.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and pull it back to Avin here because we're definitely just getting weird. I wanted him to give a shout out to his wife, not for us to fucking break down her name to a cellular level. But big shout out to Gladys. So we'll get you on the show soon enough. So now you're in your MMO history. You're here. You're playing FF14. What specifically brought you to the booty? I always feel like everyone has a story that brought them to the FC. So what brought you here? I'm already surprised to hear that the PS4 was your entry point because, man, I swear to you, I remember seeing your name. I feel like I remember seeing your name for as long as I have been in the FC, and I joined the FC playing on a fucking PS3, my friend.
Well, yeah. Well, we did join on PS4. Gladys was on the PS3, but yeah, I've been around since the beginning. I'm actually came over and we started the FC, and I was part of the OG group along with Aya. And that's
OG?
actually, what's that?
I said OG.
Yes,
Did you
OG.
come over from the Dark Tower?
We did, yes.
Okay, yeah. So for anyone who doesn't know, newer players, there a lot of people in this FC. I guess the OG crew all came over from an FC called the Dark Tower, which I just happened to fall into. And the person that I actually contacted to join that FC was Tessa. And so then I had 2 weeks where I couldn't play, and when I came back, the thing was in a shambles, and I didn't recognize any of the names. And so I hunted her down because she was on my friends list, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I started this new thing, and it's called the Pirate Bay." Or no, I'm sorry, it was Reap. It was Reaper of Souls, which by the way was just the absolutely it was the most unfucking imaginative thing ever. It was the most unimaginative thing ever, and I was so glad when you changed it. I was like, oh, okay, so we're a fucking Diablo 3 FC now. That's great.
Oh my gosh, no! I bought the FC, thank you, and I had to buy it with the name.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Later. No, I bought it because it was a rank 8 and it came with a medium-sized house for 5 mil gil. And so I was like, this is a steal. And so I bought it, and then we kicked all of the inactives, and so it was only us, I think there was 6 to 8 of us at the time.
We were the OG 7, actually.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then people kept messaging me from Dark Tower, like, where'd you go? What happened? And so every time they would do that, I would tell them what happened and invite them over, and they'd all come. And then we just grew and grew and grew and grew and grew. But
Now, let me just poke in here 1 second. I'm just going to say, do you remember when you renamed it the Pirate Bay that what our tag was? How terrible it was?
Oh, it was really bad.
It was R.
With a ton of R's. So she had this brainstorming meeting where we're like, we gotta find a better tag. And I'm sorry, you know what? The booty, that was my doing.
It's completely Evan's idea, yes. He is the reason why we are the booty.
I will either regret or applaud that for the rest of my life.
Applaud, definitely
A little bit
applaud.
of both.
Okay, I'll applaud it.
Yeah, applaud.
I am so glad to hear that actually went on in the background, because watching this as someone who had no fucking clue what was happening, I remember looking at my tag and going, ugh, this is fucking stupid. I don't want to walk around with this hanging off the end of my name. I don't know. It'd be like walking around with a big fucking wart hanging off the end of my nose. I'm not interested in it.
Or on your dick.
Or on my dick, or absolutely.
What?
So let's bring it back to Avon. I feel kind of bad that he felt like he had to interject on his section of the show. So shut the fuck up. I'm talking to him right now. So what do you think your primary strength is as a member of the booty? And keep in mind you are one of the OG7, so this answer ought to be pretty good.
Well, honestly, I really don't know. But
Oh my goodness.
Can
Come
I
on,
tell?
no.
Can I tell you? Can I tell you what it is?
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna say that when I was, first joined the EFC, he and his wife were one of the main reasons that I stuck around. They are unfailingly kind, unfailingly helpful.
Yes. very true.
To everyone all the time,
Don't
100%,
say that.
always on.
Savage, you know that.
Because the second he's a dick to somebody, they're going to call him out on it now.
It'll never
I've been
happen.
waiting.
Well, hopefully you'll have to wait a bit longer. My wife keeps me pretty in check. But if I had to choose some type of strength, honestly, I'm kind of contrarian a little bit to some of the stuff that we discussed behind the scenes. I like to play devil's advocate a little bit, and I tend to get a little bit steamed up a little bit on some subjects. But
Yeah.
I try to, even when there's people that make things in life difficult, I try to look at it. I've had dark times in my past, in my life, where things weren't always looking up, and I took it out in incorrect ways. So I like to see the best in everyone. I really think everybody deserves a second chance, if not a third or a fourth chance, because if I didn't have those in my life, if people didn't give me those chances, then I wouldn't be here today.
Here,
And
here.
now you see why he's a beautiful option for a first name.
I would say that's
I've
a pretty
seen
solid
Avon
strength.
in action with that.
He's also the pun master.
Oh yeah, by the way, we do need to work on another pun off. We'll be getting
True
together.
facts.
You'll see that.
Yargith has been practicing on me. I'd like to point that out.
You know what?
Oh,
You know what?
yeah?
I'm sorry. I created him, so Yargith is like amazing. So I'll just like to point that out. Shout out to Yargith Indries. He is like the best like punster I have ever met, and he is
The
one of my
best.
favorite people.
Well, he's like the best at everything. This guy's
Come
like
on,
a
his head
freaking
doesn't need
god.
to be any bigger than it already
It's
is.
sick.
Damn, Mamba.
So next question. What is the one thing? And this is always one of my personal favorites because it kind of puts people in the hot seat and it forces you to keep it 100 as they say on that fucking Daily Show that got canceled. What is the one thing that you would change about the booty if you had the chance?
Ooh, that is a tough one.
No, it's
Let's
not.
see.
You've got some ideas.
Yeah, it's okay. Go.
It's okay. Tessa's listening,
okay.
but she's not listening very intently.
Good, because I don't want her too angry.
And
at
she's
me.
on
No.
Red Bull and vodka. She's not going to remember this.
Okay, wonderful. No, if I had to add any change, honestly, I kind of get a little bit depressed when I get online and I see, how many people are online compared to how many members we have. I wish that we had so many more active people, and I hate it whenever we have to go through, quote unquote inactives and have to kick them. I like to see a lot of active people because a lot of those people that go inactive and I never know how to contact them are friends that I've had.
Yeah.
And it's kind of depressing there. And another thing I would also change is, just making sure that everybody, I know it's impossible, everybody has their own taste and everything, but I want to make sure that everybody has fun and has an enjoyable time because it's a game. We're here to have fun, and that's really what it's all about.
So now to flip that script, what is it that you like best about the crew of the Pirate Bay?
You know what? This is probably the friendliest FC I've ever been in, and that's always going to be the best thing. If you can make friends, have a fun time, even when you have, people like Carito running around. Even if you no, David, I love you. You're amazing. So, but I would just like to say, like, everybody is so different and it's so diverse and there's so much there. That's the best thing, and we can still enjoy everybody's company. There's a lot of love there, and even if there's somebody that, you don't always understand, they actually do care about you, and you care about them, and you want to love them more. That's the thing I love about the booty the most.
So freaking true. Yeah.
We're literally a group of people who play a game together and have an arbitrary filing as like you're all together in this group, and yet we feel the need to go out of the way to have a fucking podcast and a website and a fucking newsletter. No, I mean this when I say it. We go out of our way to have all of this shit, and there's something to that. I agree. I agree 100%.
I would like just to say the next step. Now, this is very confidential, very secret. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to break the news this way. But here is the skinny. We are now currently taking donations to buy our own small country. So we'll call it Booty Land, and everybody's welcome.
The Booty Bay.
Well, there
we're going to call it.
The Booty Bay. Fuck you, Walt Disney, you unimaginative bitch. I stole that line. I can't own that line. So next up, last actually, but not least, let's take this a bit down to ground level. So we kind of had the question about what you would change in the booty. It's kind of a blanket thought, but if you had an opportunity to get in the heads of every single member of the crew, and just say one thing that you would love to see everyone do on a daily basis, on a log-on basis, one thing that you feel like everyone from the crew could do to just make Eorzea a bit of a better place to be. What is it that you would add? What's the advice or the request that you would make of each individual person?
Well, actually, it's kind of a twofold thing. Number one, everybody. It's so awesome when people say hello when people log in, but say hello and greet them by their name and just ask them how their day's going. That is actually one of the reasons I stuck around with Aya, and one of the reasons I came over with her to Reaper of Souls from the Dark Tower. Thank goodness we changed the name. But that is one of the reasons I stuck around, and that's the reason Nomig stuck around. We stuck around because of, every time we logged in, we felt special. And the other thing, too, is helping people out. If somebody asks for help, I know everybody gets busy. I can't help everybody either, but that's another thing that the reason I stuck around was because when I did need help getting through the story, when I was still learning the game and the mechanics, and there was so much on my plate, there were people that just came in droves to help me and Nomig out get through all that together. And it built lifelong friendships for real. I will love everyone that helped us and has worked with us forever because of that. So yeah, twofold. Talk to everybody, say hello, make them feel like they're welcome and loved, and help them. Help them if you have the time. If you can make the time to do that, that's what I would really want.
True facts.
Mamba.
Yes.
Hi, Mamba.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you, baby?
I'm wonderful. Are you feeling good? Are you feeling prepared to answer some questions?
Hang on just a second.
Take your time.
She's running.
Okay.
She's running.
That was. I'm. You know what?
That's it. I'm done.
We have a weird crew in this free company. I just don't know that gargling sounds are the most productive audible representation of yourself. But that being said, let's kick it back up to the list. So Mamba, I'm very interested. I want you to know this. I will say, I think I kind of hinted on it earlier, but you may be the first person outside of Tessa that I feel like I actually really connected with, got to know a bit, and really enjoyed talking to in this FC. So just as a little aside, I have been waiting to have you on the show. It is absolutely my honor to have you here. So that being said, take us through your MMO history.
Okay, it started with Pong.
Was Pong an MMO? Was that a thing?
I love you guys. You guys are all too young to even
She's
know
playing
what
Pong on a
was.
56
Oh
kilobit
God.
fucking connection.
Oh my God.
Googling that right now.
Kids, Google Pong. I've been playing video games for that long. Yes, I owned Pong. Actually, what kind of got me into MMOs, I was a Halo player, big Halo player. Yeah.
Same.
Got involved with a group called Geezer Gamers, which was a big online group, like kind of in the heyday of when Xbox Live was really getting going and all that. Met just some wonderful, wonderful lifelong friends there. Gamed there for several years with that group. Got sucked into 11 through one of the people I played Halo 2 with. And, spent 10 years in 11. And the reason that I wound up here, after 10 years of being in the frickin' rabbit hole, I was just like, I got to get off the crack. Because I had just spent 10 years playing a frickin' game, I had to stop.
You were just sitting in Sandoria getting high.
Yeah, exactly. There was nothing left to do at that point.
You played 11?
I did. I played 11.
So wet.
You just caught up.
I was on
You just
Fender.
caught up.
I was on Fender.
Wait, what the fuck?
Sandoria and I was like, oh.
But one of my absolute dearest friends in the whole world, Fishy, for those of you that haven't met him, the guy with the crazy chicken hat. He and his wife, she's FIFO Fum, so if you see FIFO Fum, that's her. We were all in the same group in 11. And after about a year off, I'd kept in touch with those guys. And Fishy was like, hey, you wanna? And I'm like, well, yeah, you wanna? And so we got together and, he ordered a rig and I ordered a rig and we started playing and here we are.
I think that's so fucking great that people can just like make that decision. You're like, yeah, you want to go play? You want to go save another universe from fucking all of this evil shit and make lifelong friends and you want to invest yourself emotionally in something for the next decade? And it's just this arbitrary decision. Like, yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna make a computer. Let's do it.
But you guys were talking about making lifelong friends and all that. It's absolutely true. If you get with the right group of people in a game like this, it's conducive to that.
You guys were my third FC, and the first two where I honestly I was pretty much ready to say fuck it.
This has been my only one.
You are lucky, my friend.
This is your only FC?
Yeah, I was never in another one. I started playing when it was Dark Tower, and then I took a break, and then I came back, and it was Booty, and that's been that way.
So you were just so awesome, they just moved you over. They just moved you over. That's fantastic.
Well, no, I came back and I didn't have an FC. So it's like, okay, and then I just tracked them down, just similar to what you did.
So that was pretty interesting, Mamba. I honestly, I didn't know that. I do want to ask you something very specific, a bit of an off-topic question, but it's something I've talked about a lot with friends. I talked about on some of the other shows that I do. But how awesome is it going to be amongst the first elderly in the world to be video gamers? I mean, I genuinely mean that. I'm not even trying to bust your chops. Like when I think about the fact that that I am going to have the privilege of being among hopefully being among the first people to be sitting there in my house, surrounded by grandchildren, surrounded by great grandchildren, and I'm still sitting there like with a controller, fucking pounding away at a boss fight or something like that. That's fucking cool to me.
Yeah,
That's really fucking
awesome.
cool to me when you think about it.
It's awesome. It's epic. One of the best times of my life was when my son was young, and it was doing the whole Halo 2 thing. I was involved in a big tournament that we had. We hosted a tournament at a local theater, and it was just epic because I was playing with my son and his friend, and it was wonderful because I was relating to these kids and had a great time, and it was hilarious because they would just make fun of each other about, hey, you just got sniped by somebody's mom. And it was wonderful. I'm going to be that grandma. And I am a grandma. For those of you that don't know, I'm probably the oldest person in the FC.
Not true.
I am a grandmother. And,
Hey, just put a number, Mamba.
I do bake cookies and do normal shit and
God,
stuff
so
like that besides just shooting guns.
No, but see,
and
I'm
playing
almost
Final
jealous.
Fantasy.
I'm almost jealous of you because because you're already to that point. And to me, that's like a real life
Jealous
goal.
of her
I
husband.
want to be that person. Yeah, well, of course I am. But we'll pull it back. I kind of just wanted to get your thoughts on that because to me, it sounds like it's going to be fucking awesome, and there's a part of me that can't wait to get to that point because I think after a while at this point, video games have kind of become a fact of life for a lot of people, and people kind of get complacent, like they're always going to be there. It's always going to be this form of entertainment, but that wasn't always the case. There, for you younger folk, there was a time when video games didn't exist, and there was a time when they weren't that popular. There was a time when it was just another toy that we played with amongst an ocean of other toys, and it's now kind of evolved into its own thing, and hopefully we all have the fucking privilege of really growing into that future together, and I think that's really, really fucking cool, and I'm very excited for it. And you were one of the few people in the FC I think I can ask that question, and you really have an informed to have kind of an informed response. But next up, so what specifically brought you to the booty?
Well, when Fishy and I first joined up, and our friend Nasty and a couple other people from Fenrir from 11 came over. We joined a small group that kind of went belly up, and it was going belly up when we came into the game. And, we were new to the game, didn't really know what was going on. And, by that time I'd found the Facebook page, and I actually asked some people on there, hey, listen, this is what I'm about, this is, what my thoughts are, this is what I'm looking for, what do you think? And was directed to a couple of different groups, of which Booty was one. And, just talked to a couple people, and I thought it sounded awesome. Big FC, fun, just rollicking insanity, and it was a good fit, and here I am.
Woo!
And now you're going to help me clear my first EX Primal while it's still relevant, right?
I am, and we need to talk about that, yes.
I've never cleared an EX Primal while it was relevant, and I'm very much looking forward to destroying fucking Sophia before she makes me cry.
Oh yeah, we got this.
I hope so.
We did pretty good the other day. We really did.
I thought we did great for it to start out with.
Yep.
So
she's on our shit list.
So next up, in the interest of moving this along, what do you think is your strength? What is your core strength as a member of the Booty?
Comic relief. It is not skill. It's not anything like that. I like to have a good time. My favorite thing to do is just laugh and be stupid and be goofy. And, if you hang out with me, you just expect that. I'm not, it's not that I don't, I don't try to play well, because I do, but I am much more about the fun. And I think anybody that plays with me regularly would probably tell you that.
What's the one thing you would change about the Booty if you had the chance?
I actually have already talked to Aya about this, and I'm sort of hoping that she'll let me implement it at some point once I kind of get it fleshed out. One of the biggest concerns that I've got is that in a group this big, you have a lot of new members coming in that just kind of fall through the cracks. It can be, you're going into a group like this, and, you see people talking, and you're not sure, who's in which clique with who, and I think that we have new people that come in that maybe aren't as vocal or as outgoing or as obnoxious as some of us. And I think that we do have people fall through the cracks. And I've got kind of a plan that I'm working on to work with the officers to really try and make personal contact and try to reach out to each and every new person that comes in and make sure that as an FC we're kind of meeting their needs. So I have a plan. Stay tuned. Shut up, Kirito.
You just kind of Donald Trump the fuck out of that, but I'm going to let it slide. I've got a plan. It's going to be a great plan. You're going to love this plan.
I have a question.
And we're going to make Garland pay for it.
That's right. We're going to make Garland pay for it. But, when we are a little bit more fully staffed, like after the elections,
I can't wait. I gotta shit. I'll be back.
Whatever that is.
Wait. I was just about to choose you, Kirito. You're my next Pokemon. He's gone.
That Pokemon is out.
He's gone. Yeah.
I really hope that his question was genuinely, can I go take a shit?
It's not going to take 100 days, guys. Seriously.
We'll catch him. We'll catch him on the return trip.
The officers, the first mates, the Mihardis, maybe even some of the other folks, that maybe, want to progress as officers with the group. It's going to be something that they can do. We'll keep track of new people coming in, and we'll, not assign people to, but, as people are able to, hey, has anybody talked to this person? What's going on with them? Has anybody talked to this person? And, actually kind of keep track of that and, just make sure that we're, at least having conversations with these folks. It's not going to be that hard to do, and I don't think it's going to be that complicated.
Not at all.
Sounds like a buddy system.
Yeah, something like that.
No, like you ever see that movie Heavyweights, the buddy system?
Yeah.
Buddy!
I'm going to suggest a name. Let's call it the stalker system, just to make it fit with the Booty. I'm just saying.
Yes.
That works for me. I'm all about the stalking.
I'm going to assign people to different areas, like these people are in the bushes, these people are in the trees.
These people are outside your bedroom window at 2 a.m.
I made it sound a little more complicated than it's actually going to be, but but to answer your question, I think that we have a lot of folks. Not everybody is real outgoing, and I want to make sure that some of the more quiet people are not falling through the cracks because, we don't like to lose anybody, and I don't want anybody to leave the FC because they didn't get help or they felt like, they didn't know anybody or they weren't comfortable. So just want to make sure that we're doing our job.
Yeah. And
don't be afraid to ask for help too. Like
True.
I know some people are a bit intimidating, but like if you ask me, the worst thing that's gonna happen and be like, say I'm busy or I can't. It's not gonna be that big of a deal, and I try to help whenever I can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and don't be shy. The people that are listening, don't be shy about saying, hey, can I have some help with this? Or hey, I have a question. People, we are here to help you. We are here to help you. So.
And most of the content, most of the experienced players can get you through.
Yep.
It's when you start pushing to the newer EXs where it could be a bit challenging.
Well, and here's the thing, is that sometimes you're going to ask. Sometimes you're going to be like, hey, can I get help with this dungeon? Or hey, our tank left. Can somebody join in progress? And sometimes people are going to be busy and they're not going to see it and they're not going to respond. Even in a large FC that happens. But it doesn't mean that every time you ask, you're not going to get an answer. Or every time you ask, someone's not going to be able to come to help. Because every once in a while you're going to ask and you're going to have a huge amount of people being like, yeah, I'll come, and you'll have to pick and choose and it'll be difficult. But that happens everywhere you're going to go. You can go to FCs that don't have as many people in them, and you'll feel like, okay, I'll fit in better here because we're a more close-knit group. Sometimes, even if you're in an FC that isn't as large as ours, sometimes you're not even still fitting in with the clique because the clique is the clique. But in ours, we have several different groups of people that are willing and ready to accept you into their quote-unquote clique. So if you're sitting here thinking, oh, I won't be able to make it into this quote-unquote clique because I haven't been here long enough, not true. Because generally, people who have been here and they've accepted their cliques because they love making new friends. They love meeting new people. They love helping. So don't be afraid to ask. And if you don't get answered on this day or that day, that doesn't mean that you're not accepted or that people don't care about you or they don't care about your questions. It just means sometimes you asked at the wrong time and people can't help. But that doesn't mean that the next time you ask, you won't get an overabundance of people wanting to help, because that's
absolutely
what I help on. Is that Booty is a helpful group. They are.
Completely agree.
Yeah, I think it just merits pointing out, and if you are a newer, younger player, and you're not really getting into some of the more difficult endgame content, just don't hesitate. And I fell prey to this quite a bit, especially early on. Don't hesitate to ask a couple of times. I mean, obviously, don't sit there and spam the chat, but don't be afraid to ask a couple of times because Aya's right. You don't know who's actually seen what you're asking. You don't know. I mean, you could be at a time where there aren't as many active people on. But I will tell you this: I do my best, and I think most of us here would agree. I do my best to help when I can help, but at the same time, when the living liquid is punching me in the fucking face, I don't have time to stop and say and like me as a monk, as a fucking career monk, I'm not gonna drop Grease Lightning 3 to tell you that I can help you in 20 minutes. So just don't hesitate to just ask again in a few minutes. It's totally fine.
Yep. Exactly.
Next up, Mamba. We're gonna flip the script a little bit. I'm gonna ask you what it is you like best about the crew. What is it you love the most about your booty?
I love the diversity of people in here. I get such a kick out of everybody. The college students, the people that have families, the single people, the married people, the gay people, the straight people. I love everybody.
We have high school students.
Exactly. It is so much fun just talking to everybody, and chat is always very lively. It's fun to hear what people are talking about and what's going on in their lives, and kind of shooting the ball with them. I love just the diversity of experiences and personalities that come together in a group this big.
We have Kirito back. How's your
thank
break,
God.
buddy? How's your break?
Oh, it was bad. It was really bad.
Oh my goodness.
Did you just punish it?
Taco Bell.
Dude.
So
it was
That
one of those
toilet.
where you start and then it hurts and you're like, no, I can't.
What have I done?
You need some of that smooth butter.
Where is
That's
Buttery?
begging
Where is
for
Buttery?
Buttery,
We
where
need
are
him.
you when we need you?
Basically, Ifrit came out of my ass.
Oh, hey, wait a minute.
The bowl of embers. That's the new nickname for
Oh
your
my
ass.
God.
The bowl of embers.
Oh my god.
The hole of embers. So you had a question before you left. What was it? Or was it just that you go take it?
I was gonna ask if I could drop a deuce.
I fucking knew it. I fucking knew it. I called it after you left. I was like, he was just gonna ask us to take a shit.
On the top 10 list of the best questions asked throughout history, that's usually at number 1.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, I am so gonna log on in the future and just ask you how the bowl is doing. That's fantastic.
Not good. Not good.
So final question for Mamba. So if you had to bring it down to street level, same thing we asked Avin. If there was just one thing you would ask, be it a big thing, small thing, to improve the quality of life and booty from every individual member, what would that be?
Well, I really liked his answer. But one thing, and this
You
is
are a
small
presidential
detail.
candidate in fucking disguise.
I
aren't
did
you?
like his answer. I mean, I'm his protege.
I just
am
want to
his
point out that
boss.
I really did
I'm his
enjoy
boss.
the senator from Colorado's answer.
Okay, here's my thing. Use the fucking website, people. Use the website.
Yes.
Use the
Yeah.
website. The functionality on that thing is great. I love using it for events and things that I'm doing for groups. You can have people sign up, you know, ahead of time who's coming. You know, if you have something, like say it's an 8-man thing and you think you may have, you know, more people than that, you can use it to just, okay, first dibs. You know, these are the people that signed up. It's just wonderful. There's a calendaring feature on there. It's just great. Go to the website, use the website. These people have put a lot of work into it, and it's wonderful. It's bootyfc.com. If you have
It's
not
beautiful.
gotten on it, get on it.
Get
Yeah,
down.
and by the
on
way,
it.
I would like just to give a shout out, Zaf. You're amazing for.
That's
starting.
right. That's
True
right.
facts.
So I'm going to point out, just as a great example of what Mom was talking about, there is actually a Crystal Tower run coming up 1 week from tonight. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yay! And apparently it was already working in the background, but I was literally just sitting at work the other day, and I was, of all things, I was listening to, and I can't remember what the name of it is, but the music from Final Fantasy III that's in Circus Tower, and I was like, I miss Crystal Tower, I want to run this. So I literally took a break from my work and just started typing up this whole thing about how I wanted to go to Crystal Tower, and within minutes I have this response from Mamba where she's like, this is already happening, jump in on this, you're going to lead a group, and I was like, all right, great. And now my phone's been blowing up for days now because I sent a Facebook message about how I missed Crystal Tower. It was great.
Nice.
Hey, you opened the door.
No, it's great. It's great because I seriously do. I remember running the fuck out of that thing, and I was a big fan of Final Fantasy III, so I really, really loved that. I loved that whole host of content. But I do feel like you prepped that last answer. That last answer was cater-made. Cater-made? Fuck! I can't talk anymore. I am drunk and tired. I'm just gonna throw it out there. No, that was tailor-made as a beautiful segue to get us over to Zaf, who is going to discuss with us updates to the website, because he does work so fucking hard on the website. He has built us something very functional, very beautiful, and that we can use as a tool to stick together, to organize events, do all sorts of cool shit, and there's some new shit going on with the website. So Zaf, take it away.
There's a lot of new stuff going on with the website, actually.
Sexy bitch.
It's not up yet.
Keep it in your
But-
pants.
I'm about to blow your minds. You ready for this?
Have to blow something.
Ready. I'm so afraid. of it.
Yeah. Blow me.
Do you hear that in the background? That is the screeching brakes of the show. as Kiro and I have just fucking ground it to a halt. Anyway, Zap, go.
Excuse me, I have to go read my Bible.
Okay. So, our website, the plan in place is that our website will become the one-stop shop, that you won't have to go to Lodestone. You won't have to go anywhere else but our website. So not only will it be a place to go for booty, but it will be a place to go for anything related to the game.
Boom.
Ooh,
Yes.
I love this plan.
So you don't have to go anywhere else to unload your stones.
Correct. So that menu that's right below our pretty little banner, that menu is about to get a lot bigger.
Oh snap!
Okay, hang on. Whoa, you didn't just find out about this, right? Okay, you're hyping it up. Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, no,
I don't know.
bullshit. So my question, one, what kind of details, if any, do you feel comfortable discussing right now? And two, do you have any sort of rollout plan for these new features that you're talking about? Like, I guess what's your end goal? And keep in mind before we talk about this, just like video game development, these are subject to change. But if you had to spitball it for us, for the audience, and tell us, like, at what point do you think BootyFC.com is going to be up and running in the fashion you have just described?
I'd say probably in about 3 weeks. I'm giving myself about 3 weeks.
Shut the fuck up. I thought you were going to say months.
No.
Not long at all.
I'm a lot better than that.
That's dope.
But
And he's got me on his side. Boom.
I'm gonna be making it. I'm gonna be focusing more on the booty side of things first. And kind of to throw an idea out there, one of the things I absolutely hate about the FC window in the game is that you cannot sort it by crafters or by what class they are. That's going to be on the website. So you're going to be able to...
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
so you're going to be able to go on the website. There's going to be a page specifically for crafters. So you're going to be able to see anybody that's in the FC, what level their crafters are. Now, it won't go into... what I have planned right now is that it's not going to be able to go to in as much detail as what are they master crafter in that particular crafting class, but it's at least going to show you they're 60 in this, and this, and this, and this, or they're level 50 in this. So it's going to be just for the crafters. Kind of the same thing, same concept for the members. So right now, if I had it set up originally where you go to members, which is down by the way because it wasn't. It needs to be updated. It was just the giant list of everyone in the FC sorted by rank. We're going to have something similar, but I'm going to start splitting it up now. I'm going to make a crafting section. I'm going to make an officer section. So we're going to have a page that just shows you who is the captain, who is a first mate, who is a Mahardy. So that way you know you don't have... That's another thing you can't sort by in the window in the game. You can actually see who specifically is in a position where you can go to if you need anything.
Well, Zaf, I have a personal request for the website, if you have a moment to hear it.
Sure.
You remember back in the golden days of MySpace where you had that little in-window music player? I want one of those for my profile.
I like it.
Yes.
I hate how much I like that idea.
Yeah.
I really do. Mostly because it just makes me remember MySpace and want to cry.
Now, a lot of this stuff is going to require, it's not even so much getting it on the website. It's going to be a lot of work to keep it updated. So once I get a lot of this in place, I'm going to start needing people to step up that want to help me with it. So, like, for example, Tito might be interested in, since he's going to be doing this part in the podcast anyway, is Final Fantasy related stuff that's coming up. Having somebody that maybe keeps up with that kind of stuff and making sure that if it's on the Final Fantasy website, it's on our website. And I might be able to figure out a way to make that, or it's an automatic thing, but from the get-go, we might need to have someone do that manually. But that's one thing. I'm gonna redesign the front page. It's not gonna be just the Discord. Like, we're gonna still have the Discord and stuff like that on the right hand side, but we're not just gonna have FC related news in the front. The front page is gonna be everything there is to know about Booty, who we are, what we're about, stuff like that. It's gonna have. I'm gonna bring the screenshot thing back to the front page, where it shows, like, anything that's happened in the FC. And we're gonna put the news in a different section. So there's gonna be a ton of stuff. We're gonna have the shop coming once we get the swag stuff figured out. We're gonna be actually working with a local place to see what they're about in regards to the T-shirts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
You should tell them about the T-shirts that we ordered from Teespring.
They came out all right. Like
All right.
I wasn't super like the quality of the print was really good. The only thing I was disappointed about was that the design we went with on those initial shirts, they weren't able to make it big enough for it to really fill the shirt.
Yeah. The print area in the shirt is very small. So like look down at your boobs and imagine the print area being between one nipple and the other nipple. And that's as big as it gets.
Well, can I give you a little bit of advice from someone who has experience in t-shirt printing?
Yes.
I've actually
please do.
worked professionally in that particular design industry, and I will tell you this: a lot of the online retailers, what they are using that allows them to make such small runs, are machines that are essentially inkjet printers that are printing your design directly onto a T-shirt one at a time, as opposed to a larger scale production facility that involves people loading and unloading like 10 to 15 shirts at a time on a large printing press. So my recommendation would be, just on the fly, listening to you talk about this, would be go with a company that is actually doing straight up legitimate screen printing, where you can actually talk to the people, or at least some representative from the company that is actually doing it. It will probably involve working with a smaller scale company, which it already sounds like you're doing.
Yes.
And it may also involve paying a little bit more, but in the end, you are going to be happier with the outcome, because I think that industry is moving in a direction where eventually you're going to be able to get the print of your dreams for that lower price, and a smaller run is what most people want. Is they just want a smaller number of shirts, but that gets difficult for a number of different reasons. Like you describe it, and I feel like I could tell you what machine they printed it on and why it didn't work.
Oh yeah.
Well, really, what we need, Aya, is we need grandmas to just join up and just help us knit them.
True facts. No, listen. My grandma in Texas, Freeport, Texas, had a machine that took up her entirety of her family room that would custom print things on the front of T-shirts and the like, and that was her business for a while. So I think kind of growing up with that is where I kind of got the idea from. But no, I agree with Carudis, and I think that's why we decided to go with a smaller company, more local, so that we can go in and we can talk to the people about what we want and make the changes that we want to make, so that whatever we decide to put in our quote-unquote swag store is something that people want to spend money on. Because we don't want people to spend money on things and it be crap. But I also want to make it known that the things that we take the money for, like any profit that we get on the swag, will be returned. We're going to be using it for contest winnings for people who can't afford their subscription and they need time cards and that kind of thing. So it's every ounce of money that we get in profit will be put back into the FC.
Yeah, I can't stress how important that will be, and how much better your end result is going to be if you actually take the time to go talk to people in a small company. You're going to be much happier.
I agree. I'm excited about it, honestly.
So, that being said, God, I feel like we're definitely talking about the FC, but I feel like we pulled so far off. I want to get back to Zaf and his website updates. We're seriously talking about the minutia of fucking t-shirt design and printing. What else is going on with the website? Is there anything else we need to talk about?
Well, I mean, just there's so much stuff that I can't even talk. Like, I can't even tell you everything, but like a video of the week is going to be something that we're going to implement too. So kind of like it could be an A9S video. We're going to be redesigning the rules instead of it being rules, because rules is kind of like rules, and it's going to be more of a booty code of conduct. So that's going to be redesigned to kind of we've all learned from situations over the past, so we're going to be updating that to more follow like a code of conduct, what we expect from people.
Aren't we pirates? Shouldn't they be more guidelines?
Yeah.
I was quoting Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, I didn't know if anyone else noticed that.
I did.
Okay.
I was like waiting.
All right. Well, then, last but certainly not least, as the show is getting a tad bit long in the tooth, Zaf and Aya particularly, unless anyone else went that I'm unaware of here on the show, I would like you guys to share with us a bit of your experience at FanFest, because you got to fucking go, and I bet it was tons of fun. And where's my fucking fat chocobo pick? You promised.
Ooh.
Yeah.
No.
Sounds like our last
Hang on. No. It's fine. I appreciate the fact that you want to jump in here, Devin, but you didn't promise me. She promised me. Oh, God damn it. She
ran away.
Then I guess you're in the
She
hot
ran
seat,
away.
dude. You're in the hot seat. Where's my pick?
Okay, so
So what happened was
yeah, merch line. Merch line was merch line savage mode. Like, we wiped several times.
Like 4.
Unfortunately,
Oh,
we
you're
never,
back now.
We never cleared it.
Yeah, just in time to dodge the question.
Shut your mouth.
The second savage line was the chocobo.
Oh my gosh, it's a chocobo.
Did it break your static? Could you just not take it?
It couldn't take it because the static was me and Devin, and the merch line breaking 4 times, and the people like who stood in the line and got rewarded for stood in the line when they told them not to stand in the line.
Yeah, so explain that. You told me about that.
So let me jump in here real quick. The white mage that I had with me, she stayed in cleric stance the whole time. That's why we wiped.
Shut your fucking face.
What a noob.
Yep.
Okay, so we stood in the merch line the first day. And we're standing in the merch line. We stood in the merch line, like, what, 2 hours? And then the guy from Square Enix gets on his little loudspeaker thing, and he says, if you're standing in the merch line, we're cutting it off. Get out of the merch line. Whoever is standing at the end of the merch line, you need to get out. We're no longer accepting new people in the merch line. We're going to take whoever's in it. So people broke away. A little bit later, people started lining up, so we lined up too. This happened 4 times. At the very end of the night, or it wasn't the very end of the night, it was like mid-afternoon, the guy gets on his loudspeaker and he says, we are breaking off the merch line indefinitely. Do not come back and line up at the merch line. We're not doing it. So whoever's in the merch line, at the very end of the merch line, you're done.
Yeah.
So I asked the person standing there, this sweet little lady who's standing there with a huge smile on her face that says, crew on her Final Fantasy 14 shirt. And I say, so are they done with the merchandise line for the day? Or are we done? Can we no longer stay in the line? She says, yes, we're done with the line for the day. You have to get out. And so I said, okay. So at that point, we had nothing else really to stay for, and we left. We come back early the next morning, like waiting to stand in that merch line all freaking day. We were prepared. And we stood in line from like 7 in the morning to 9 in the morning, and we're standing there, and they say, if you have a time card for this time in the morning to this time in the morning, you can stay in line. If you don't have a time card, get out.
Well, hold on. So what they did, this is the worst part. Friday, the first day where they said they were cutting the line off for the entire day, turns out that they actually let the line form again later on that day. So probably about an hour and a half to 2 hours after we left, they allowed the line to go back in place because they had gotten through the line that they had cut off for the day. So unbeknownst to us, they continued the line, and then they cut it off again. And the people that actually, the entire line that had gotten cut off at that point, they decided to hand them out red tickets. And those red tickets allowed them to be first come, first serve the next day. So the next day comes around, and like Tessa said, we actually were like, all right, we're going there super early. We're going to get in that merch line as soon as those doors open. Well, that's what we did. Unfortunately, they kicked us out of the merch line because unless you had red tickets from the previous day, you weren't allowed in the merch line.
So if you didn't follow the rules, you got a merch ticket. And
yeah. So apparently that whole time ticket process was what they were supposed to do from the get-go, but the crew that were the volunteers, essentially, so not the Square Enix official employees, but the crew, just random Vegas people, I guess, were the ones that messed up that whole thing. So Square Enix obviously was the Square Enix official people were trying to scramble to get it back in place, but at that point, they're going to piss people off, and they ended up pissing people off. But it is what it is, I guess. But then not only did the red tickets get first come, first serve the next day, but they had handed out time tickets because the fire marshal, people had lined up at 3 o'clock in the morning, Sunday or Saturday morning, to wait in line for the convention to open at 10 o'clock in the morning to get in the merch line. Now, we got there at 7 o'clock. By that time, they had already handed out time tickets ranging from 12 o'clock in the afternoon all the way to 6 o'clock in the evening. And that was it. They weren't handing out any more. So everyone that got to get merch on the second day had to have had a time ticket. They did not allow anybody in that merch line that did not already have a time ticket for the second day.
Brutal.
So if you followed the rules at all on the first day, you didn't get a time ticket.
You got fucked.
Yeah.
So
You got fucked.
luckily we found 2 Genovians there that were kind enough to get us a few things that we wanted. But
By we, he means me.
both
He
of
like,
us-
no, he literally
us.
begged me to
both of
go
us.
ask people if they had a time ticket and if they would do it. And there was one point where he was standing there and there was I went and asked 4 different people if they had a ticket and if they were buying certain things to help us. And I had asked, and there's people no. So I kept asking. And the 4th person was some girl who's literally, she had something up her butt. And she didn't like other girls. And she didn't like people talking to her, period. Because I came up to her and I said, are you buying a, let's say, for example, Odin statue? And she stared at me. And I said, do you have a time ticket? And she stared at me. And I could see that she had a time ticket in her hand. And I said, okay, I see that you have a time ticket. Are you buying an Odin statue at this o'clock? And she stared at me, and I said, okay, I'm sorry, I must have gotten off on the wrong foot. I'm Aya Bea. I'm from the Genova server. I run a static. It's the Pirate Bay. Our tag is booty. We're large FCA. I'm trying to make
That's a
conversation
huge
with
static.
this girl. Yes, I'm trying to make conversation with this girl who's literally just staring at me. And finally, at one point, I finally say, okay, well, if you're not buying an Odin statue, do you think I can pay you $20 to buy one when it's time for you to get in line? She literally stared at me. She didn't say one single word, and at that point, I was done.
Well, what she probably didn't know was she'd probably been sitting there for the past 2 ways at her entire fan fest in a line, and you were probably the 17th person to ask her that question. She was probably at that point she had probably turned and looked to her guy or girl or whoever was with her and went, the next motherfucker that comes and asks me to buy them an Odin statue, I'm just gonna fucking stare at them till they go away.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she did. She did really good. So kudos to whoever that was. If you're listening to this, you did a brilliant job of just staring at me and making me feel like poop.
I do want to point out that none of this answers my question of why I don't have a picture of our Lord and Savior, Capn Aya Bea, riding a fucking fat chocobo across the Cartno Flats. I'm serious.
You freaking listen. That second day, whenever they'd cut people off and they gave certain people time cards to stand in the merchandise line, all of those people who didn't get a time card, which were a billion different people, decided to then stand in the chocobo line because that was the only other legitimate thing to do besides the IRL quote-unquote quest, which took just a couple minutes to do. So everybody stood in that chocobo line after that. And there was absolutely no way, unless you wanted to stand in the chocobo line for hours and miss all the other things in order to do that. And I wasn't ready and willing, and I'm so sorry.
You should have just walked
Well,
up
hold
to the
on, the
front
live-
and said nerds and then pushed them all out of the way.
The live quest actually didn't take just a few minutes. It said somebody here didn't want to get on the computers to do the duty that they had set up at FanFest.
Ugh. That's because at the final thing where they had everybody standing in line and like everybody went over to merchandise quest, and then you had the duty computers open. If you decided to go do the duty computers, you had to sit there at your computer until everybody else filtered into the duty computers, and then you could finally do them. It would take hours because there were people literally sitting there and opening computers for the rest of the day because nobody wanted to do it anymore. It was a pain in my butt.
Penis.
Sounds like a good time.
So FanFest was
Oh.
awesome. That's what we
They
take away from
definitely-
that. FanFest was great.
It was enjoyable. It was
It
enjoyable,
was.
but
yeah, it was very much.
it was an experience. But they do have a lot of improving to do. But BlizzCon was new too at one point, so I'm sure that they'll improve upon it over the years.
So
I met some amazing people. Yeah.
I am going to say this. At this point, we have got a meaty episode on our hands, and I think we still need, we still need to definitely do some plugs, have some final words with everybody before we sign off. The only final thing we really had here on the agenda was to talk about the early announce of Stormblood, and the trailer that everyone saw, and I'm sure everyone loved, and it was great, and we're all excited to go to Alamigo. So I'm going to recommend at this point, since we have a long time before Stormblood comes out and plenty of time to talk about it, that we push that to our next episode. If anyone has any objections, feel free to let me know. Tito, if there's just something about Stormblood you are dying to talk about, you go right ahead and do it now. But if not, I am going to go straight into final comments from everyone. It's because we're going to do some cheap plugs. If anyone has anything they want to promote, very soon it is going to be your time.
Red Mage confirmed. That's it.
Shut the fuck up.
Oh, boom. Boom.
Actually, you know what? That does lead me to one really good question about the Encyclopedia Eorzea, which is currently heading to my house. So last night, Tessa told me that she and Devin had found in the Encyclopedia Eorzea. Spoiler alert: if you have this thing on the way or you are planning on ordering it, they are claiming that there is a new upcoming primal for 4.0 revealed in that book, and yet they couldn't quite remember what it was. And so I kind of wanted to call bullshit because I'm like, you know about a new
All right, I'll go
primal,
get it now.
and you don't know what the fuck it is.
You listen.
I'm
listen
listening.
right now. Devin is on his way. I'm watching his sexy butt as he goes into the other room to get this
You
encyclopedia.
have clearly had
It's
a few
got-
vodka and Red Bulls.
I have. I will gladly point this out. I have had at least 3 Red Bull vodkas, and I am on my way to a root beer and whipped cream vodka.
Root
anyway.
beer.
Sounds
And it
delicious.
has all the old primals that
Yes,
you know from
yes.
Final Fantasy XIV. And it's got this new primal who is clearly a dude and looks a little bit like a cross between Ravana and a paladin.
All right,
Does
well,
it have a name?
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
that's what I'm
so
curious about. Does it have a name?
First of all, I wanna. This probably isn't coming out in 4.0. This is probably coming out before the new expansion.
Really?
Because,
Okay.
yes, because in the order of this page, it goes Sephiroth, Sophia, and then this new primal. So, willing to bet that it's coming out before
Wait, does it not have a
Stormblood.
name?
it does.
Oh, what is it? I need to know.
Is this the third of the Warring Triad? Because I'm gonna be really
Yeah, well, like,
disappointed if that's
gotta
what
I'm
it
be,
is.
waiting for the name.
Like, I gotta see a picture too. Like, put
Now-
kick or something.
Forgive me if I pronounce this wrong, but I got Zervan.
That's the third member of the Warring Triad.
Yeah.
You boners. You got me all excited about some new shit. That's the third member of the Warring Triad. God damn
He's probably
you.
called. Wait, how'd you pronounce it? How'd you say it?
Zervan.
It's called. I guarantee you, his name's gonna be Zervan, the Devil, or Demon.
Yes.
Saying that right now.
Yep. Oh, you boners. All right.
Well,
Hey,
he's
wait,
on
wait.
primals. He's
Does he have-
going to
He
be a
is.
primal.
No, they have him as a primal.
Well,
They have him
well,
as a
the
primal
Warring Triad are primals too.
This is the important thing. Does he have like a defining color, and is that defining color orange?
They don't have any defining colors for this section in the primal
Oh, like
section.
Tito,
They are literally all black and white.
Tito.
Did you see like a pic?
They've clearly never played Final Fantasy VI. Just don't.
Yeah,
Just don't.
Yes, we have.
Okay.
You
Just look at the picture of him, okay? What color is he? That's literally what I'm asking.
It's very hard to tell, but he's got wings with an axe.
So what I would
That's
say is
not a color
look
you
at
select.
what I would say is look at a picture of him, and does he look suspiciously like a statue in fucking Azaslaw? Because I guarantee
Yeah.
that he does.
No.
He-
Listen. like I said, he looks like a cross between Ravana and a paladin in their new paladin gear. Maybe kind of
I'm
picture
flying as
if
well
you've
right
seen
now.
some of the very first ninja PvP gear, kind of the bat-esque gear. That's kind of what it looks like he's wearing. Maybe a cross between like a warrior paladin kind of thing, but he has absolutely no color. They're black and white for all of the primals, and he comes after Sophia. So they've made him something pretty big in the game, but they haven't announced it.
How do
I
you-
was just
how do you spell it?
speculating.
How do
I
you
was
spell
worried
it?
about what color his bird was. That's the only thing.
I just want to
I
see.
bet his bird.
No, they don't have him in color at all. Like
Okay,
all
well,
of them are black and
Hold
white.
on, hold on.
We got to
It
sort this out. How do you
says
spell it?
records describe the demon
Yeah.
striding
Yep,
into
that's-
battle,
yep,
and
that's
grinded
it.
head to foot, in armor formed of unshifting flame.
That is this.
Oh,
That is the
okay.
third member of the Warring Triad.
It's gonna be orange. I'll bet money on it right now.
Mystery solved. That was the last thing that I wanted to take care of before we finished up this episode. So now,
Oh my
since
God.
we are so goddamn long on this thing, we're gonna end it now. But we're gonna end it with our plugs, and we're gonna go straight down the list. So first off, Avon, is there anything that you want to promote? Any final thoughts? It is your opportunity. If you want to tell us to go fuck ourselves, now is the time.
I wouldn't say that, but I'm sorry. Thank you for
I'm
having
so
me.
sorry. I'm not telling you to go fuck yourself.
Okay. But thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. I'm just saying, since you're putting the Stormblood speculation until the next podcast, you have to have me back. I'm just going to say that you have to. And if you don't, I'll find you. And I'll probably talk your ears off about Stormblood. But
He's-
not other
I will
than
do
that.
Red Mage
Other than
confirmed.
that, I'm very, very happy to be part of this FC. Thank you again for having me. And I came back from a short break because I have a new baby. So I'm trying to get back into things. If anybody needs help or needs assistance, give me a call because I'll learn by helping you and you'll help me at the same time. So thank you very much.
Beautiful.
Pro tip: do not try to raid while holding your baby. I tried when my daughter was a newborn. I tried to coddle her in my arms while fighting Twintania. She did not care for it.
Oh, yeah.
Just throwing that out there. She did not care
I have
for
a
it at all.
2-year-old. I have tried
Oh,
doing
okay,
that and
okay.
I dropped him. So
No. Oh, no. Okay. Aya, we're gonna skip over you. I'm just going down the list here. Next up, you know
Fine.
what? No. Hey, you're gonna get you're at the
Fine.
end. You're at the end, boss. You're at the end. Next up is Kirito, my buddy, my friend. We got a couple laughs out of you this episode. You didn't interject as much as I was hoping. Once I gave you carte blanche, just interrupt the shit out of people. But final words. What have you got for us?
Don't message me in game and fuck you all.
Yay.
Wow. 10K to the company's yes.
Oh, whoa, this is a
Dang.
podcast, not in game.
I give no shit.
Troy,
10K,
tell her
yeah.
to shh.
I have no power here. I have no power here. Mamba, what have you got?
I'm going to give just a quick shout out to my static salty bastards. Boomin, Photo, Buttery, Agent, Mordred, Kit, Kurenai. I love you guys.
Beautiful.
They're awesome. The other thing is Aquapolis. If you guys are not getting in on Aquapolis, make sure that you're signing up on the website. It's every other Monday. We have a great time doing it. It is a very low stress, just fun kind of thing. Check it out if you haven't already. And Sophia EX.
Beautiful.
Gonna be
We gonna get her.
yeah. We gonna get her.
Mhm.
So stay tuned for that and watch for Boomin's 24-man raids. I'm just giving you guys a heads up. Watch for that because that's gonna be a thing, and he'll
It's
talk
gonna
more
be so
about
much
that later
fun.
on.
Yeah.
It's gonna be awesome. And go fuck yourselves.
What? Do it.
Wow.
Tito, hit him with it.
Shout out to the Hungry Caterpillars. Today is the day we kill Refurbisher together. Hopefully, maybe be
Boom.
better. And
got this.
I promise. If I have the opportunity, I'll have much more to say next time because the European one's coming up. And
Vivi lives. Go.
yeah, Vivi. No, Vivi.
Oh, you almost
No,
said
he's
it.
dead. He's dead. I'm sorry. He's dead.
Lives.
And I forget the thing. I don't know. Oh yeah, Red Mage confirmed. So
Boom.
Zaf, what have you got? Good talk,
That
buddy.
was-
Good
Yeah,
talk.
good talk.
Good
Good
talk.
talk. Please, if you have suggestions for the website, please, I can't stress that enough. Post it in the site suggestions form.
Okay, great. Captain,
Do it.
the final words,
Okay.
final thoughts. What have you got?
I have a few, so I'm sorry if I sit here and make you grow beards. But keep in mind, in case you forgot, Tito and Tarek, they have an awesome PvP event coming up. They have some great
It's
ideas.
supposed to be a secret. All right, whatever.
No! It's awesome. It's
fine.
it's a PvP coming up, a duel event. They're doing it at the Wolf's Den, so keep that in mind. Brush up on your PvP skills.
It's not just gonna be who's better. We're also gonna have best in show too. So
Yeah.
whoever puts on the best show, because me and Tarek, we're gonna shoutcast the whole thing,
Yeah.
and we're gonna go ape shit. So
They have some great ideas for some future events, so kind of stay tuned for that. I'll be sure to post them on the Facebook and the website, so stay tuned. Also, in the future, we're going to have some awesome events coming up, so be sure that you're checking the Facebook and the Booty website. If you don't know what those are, oh my gosh, how did you ever find our podcast? Also, Mamba has some new things coming up. I know she's going to be posting some things on the website. I have some new things coming up for some future events. But if you haven't had a chance to get onto our website, bootyfc.com, please check it out. If you haven't checked out our art contest, if you draw, if you graphic design, if you paint, any of those things, let me know. We can get them onto a t-shirt, we can get them onto a mug, we can get them onto a mouse pad, and we can make sure that you win first place, and then you get the first one ever received. 5 million gil first place, 3 million gil second place, 1 million gil third place. It's a huge event, so please keep track of that. It's on our pinned events on the Facebook. If you're on mobile, go to mobile, thereapfc.com, and it I think it's actually facebook.com/groups/reapfc, which is ridiculous, and then it will be on our pinned groups or a pinned post on the very top.
something worth noting towards that PvP tournament is it's also gonna have two categories. So we're gonna have the DPS category and the tank category. Because trust me, if you ever played a DPS versus a tank, it's not fun.
Oh my god.
Ugh,
So
no
and
healer
also-
category makes me sad.
I'm sorry, no healer category. Because
Just constant healing
Yeah,
and then shit
it'll-
DPS
we'll
back
be
and
there
forth
for
for
hours.
hours.
yeah, so DPS category, tank category. That's it.
One last little plug. I'm going to interrupt. I forgot to mention something. Mamba, you are freaking amazing. When I had to leave for family leave, she took over all the events that I had started, and she just ran with them, and she is a million times better than I am. So
Oh my gosh.
she's going places. She's amazing. I'm just wanting to say
She's
that.
going places.
Stop.
Different, not better, but however, just as good. Both of them are brilliant, and I'm so glad to have them as first mates.
Well, I just want to take this opportunity as we close this out to say thank you to everyone for coming. Thank you for making the time. I know it is difficult to block this kind of time out, an hour and a half, 2 hours, however long it is we take to do the show. It is very difficult for everyone to block this kind of time out in their busy schedule, especially when I'm sure they would most likely rather be playing the game. So if you listen to the show, if you enjoyed the show, take the time to let the people who are on the show know how much you appreciate the time that they took to put this together for you. I also want to thank our guests who came in today. So Evan, Mamba, great to have you on. Tito, wonderful to have you back. We're definitely going to have some people back on the next episode to talk Stormblood. We definitely need to get into that. But aside from that, I just want to say for myself, for Kirito, for Zaf, and for Capn Aya, we will see you next month.
Bye, Felicia.
What's up, bitches?
See ya.
Bye-bye, booty.
The Captain's Quarters is the official monthly podcast of the Pirate Bay Free Company of Genova server in Final Fantasy XIV. This show is brought to you by the Zero Lives video game podcast, which is part of Black Coat Radio. Find this and many other quality nerdcasts for stream and download at Black Coat Radio on SoundCloud and YouTube. Join us each and every month to hear the latest comings and goings of Genova's finest free company.
It's our everything. Do what you want, 'cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate. You're har. Wind at your back, lads, wherever you go. Blue sky above and blue ocean below. You are a pirate.